Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to address a question I've been asked several times, and that is if there are any fixes to Pectus Excavatum, otherwise known as sunken chest, or even rounded shoulders using bodybuilding exercises. These questions have come about usually when I've created rib box expansion videos in the past, which I've made several of. And I recently read an article from 1950 written by Barton Horvath, which explains really well, explains it really well, how to correct for these sunken chest and rounded shoulders. Barton Horvath in the article initially identifies the muscular deficiencies that are likely to occur in these cases, and he also lists a variety of specifically chosen exercises which systematically target the different areas of weaknesses in the musculature, and in doing so offers a corrective exercise program for correcting posture and opening the rib box by strengthening the back, as well as certain musculature of the front. And in doing so, he offers a corrective program for correcting rounded shoulders and the sunken chest. I thought it was an excellent article to share, so I hope you enjoy this presentation. Now, there are many causes for rounded shoulders and sunken chest, and although the article addresses the correction of these conditions through bodybuilding exercise, it does not pretend to identify every cause. However, it does list possible reasons why these conditions can occur as listed. Firstly, let's look at the image on the left. We can see here we have a person with a normal posture, whereas on the person or the image of the person on the right has pectus posture. You can see that their head is slightly tilted forward, they've got a rounded back and shoulders, a sunken chest, their pelvis is rotated forward, and they've got even a bit of rib flare and a pot belly happening there. Overall, a very poor posture, and it can be due to a combination of the following conditions. They may have, for example, tight or shortened pectorals. They may have a weak trapezius, weak upper back muscular tone, weak serratus magnus, and weak pectoral minor. For example, the pectorals, if they're shortened or overly developed, as seen in many bodybuilders, this can lead, of course, to the shoulders rounding forward, giving you that rounded shoulder appearance. Aggravate that with a weak trapezius, and therefore the shoulders are definitely going to slope forward because the trapezius is supposed to hold them back, right? This goes the same with the weak upper back muscles. If they're weak, not toned properly, not developed properly, they're also going to not pull the shoulders back into their right place, and all of these are going to contribute to a poor posture. Now, a weak serratus magnus and pectoral minor will actually affect the rib box and prevent it from expanding correctly. So we're going to have to look at all of these different conditions and address them through exercise. Now, the Silver Era fix as presented in this article takes a two-step approach involving expanding the rib box, of course, and correcting the posture so that you can end up looking like Leroy Colbert here in this phenomenal side chest pose. Man, that is just fantastic. You can see he's got fantastic posture and a beautifully developed rib box. And so to correct I guess these conditions using Silver Era bodybuilding methods or techniques, we're going to have to think about deep breathing exercises which are oxygen demanding and stretch the rib cage or rib box, and also to develop the weak musculature, particularly of the back, to correct the posture. Now, of course, one of the very first things that one can do to expand the rib box is to perform the breathing squat. But in this case, you're not necessarily using the breathing squat for developing your thighs or for stimulating growth or weight, which is another, I guess, use for the breathing squat. Instead, you can use a light weight, at least this is what the article recommends, the use of a light weight, and to really focus on breathing. That is the real focus here. The concentration on breathing is paramount. So performing at least 20 reps, but up to 30 reps where the focus is on deep, heavy breathing. Again, remember that the breathing squat itself is an oxygen demanding exercise, but when the focus is taken off the weight and on breathing, and especially taking several breaths between each rep, this will actually help in expanding the rib cage. And now you can also, as the article recommends, position your arms as close to your shoulders as possible, not flared out wide, but really close to your shoulders as possible. And this actually causes the chest to be thrust out, which further stretches the rib cage. Fantastic advice here given by Barton Horvath in this article. And of course, as always, the breathing squat should be supersetted with the bent arm pullover, performed, for example, here on a bench. Ideally here, in this case, using a close grip, as shown here by the amazing Reg Park. He's performing bent arm pullovers. No wonder he also had a phenomenal side chest pose. Fantastic rib cage development. You want to bring the bar down or the dumbbell down as much as possible to stretch the rib cage. That's the whole point. You can really see in this diagram, I really enjoy this diagram, how high Reg Park's ribs are as he performs the pullover. That's the point. You can see he's dropped his hips, he's dropped his head, and the focus is on stretching the rib cage. That's the focus point, right? That's the whole point of doing the bent arm pullover directly after doing the breathing squat, because again, both are breathing exercises that focus on stretching the rib cage. And of course, the added benefit is that you have toning of the upper pec, that is the pectoralis minor and the serratus magnus, using this exercise. Again, by I guess developing the tone of these muscles, the serratus magnus and the pectoral minor, it also helps keep the rib box high. So it actually allows you to keep your rib box nice and high. So the use of both the breathing squat supersetted with the bent arm pullover, of course, addresses the first approach to preventing sunken chest. It should help correct that particular condition. To further now move forward and correct for posture, one would need to work on the weak musculature of the back, the deltoids, to pull the shoulders back, the traps as well to pull the shoulders back, and the neck to actually also keep the neck straight, right? And so listed here are several exercises which will help develop these weak areas. Of course, the chin up can be performed, or the lat machine pull down, bent over rows using a barbell or a dumbbell. High bench rows, now this is a really good one. You basically lay face down on a higher bench, a bench that is higher than normal, and you pick up a couple of dumbbells or a barbell and really squeeze as you row the weight up into your chest. You really squeeze the back, and it really develops those back muscles really well. It was actually a favorite of Vince Gironda. Moving on to the deltoids, of course, dumbbell laterals can be used, bent over lateral raises especially. You don't necessarily want to be working too much front delt here. You want to be working especially the lateral heads and the posterior heads of the deltoid. The dumbbell shrug will actually really help develop the trapezius musculature. And finally, performing head strap exercises will help in correcting any neck muscular deficiency there. Now, for all these exercises, the idea is not to use too much of a heavy weight. I repeat that again, don't use heavy weight. You want to do a lot of repetitions and also perform several sets, at least 2 sets, and ideally to perform this at least 2 to 3 times a week. And the whole idea, as I mentioned earlier, is to use this as a program for correction of the posture and the rib cage. The idea is not to necessarily go all out on weight and decrease the range of motion. No, you want to use a lightweight and really move through the full range of motion in all these exercises to tone up the area correctly and bring the posture back to normal, and again stretch out the rib cage. And another advice that is given in the article is to back off the bench press, of course. No need to work on the bench press at least for a month or two until the posture is corrected and the rib cage is a little bit more expanded. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the training methods of the champions from the silver and golden era of bodybuilding, such as Reg Park, Steve Reeves, Don Horvath, Chuck Sipes, Sergio Oliva, please visit my website www.goldenerabookworm.com, where you'll find out-of-print books and courses on old school bodybuilding. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video on corrective exercises to correct for conditions such as sunken chest and rounded shoulders. And I hope that by the end of it, you can look like Abe Goldberg here with his phenomenal rib cage. I mean, damn, that is probably, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I've shown this photo several times. I think that is the best rib cage development I have ever seen. I mean, this guy even beats Arnold. This is just ridiculous. I mean, look at the size of that rib cage. It is phenomenal. I've never seen a better rib cage, a better example of rib cage development. I mean, I'm even speechless, for God's sake. I mean, I've never seen a better example of rib cage development in my life, and that's why I keep presenting this photo again and again and again. Wow, no pectus excavatum there, no rounded shoulders whatsoever. Phenomenal photo. And of course, Abe Goldberg really enjoyed doing lots of bent arm pullovers. No surprise. Fantastic development of the rib cage there. Again, hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me your comments, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my research and work, please donate via PayPal. You can also become a patron, and please visit my website for out-of-print books and courses on old school bodybuilding. You can always also get in touch with me via email if you wish to donate your old school bodybuilding books and magazines. If you want to let them go, I'm always adding to my collection, which allows me to research further. Anyway, that's it for me. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.
Hi everybody, I just want to recommend this phenomenal book, Vince's Secret Locker, volume number 2 by Carl Coyne. I've been looking at this for about 4 weeks and I can't put it down. If you get a chance, check it out. He also has a part 1 that I highly recommend also. Vince was the trainer to the stars and had an amazing, interesting gym that today there's still not equipment like it around. It was all made out of wood. He'll be on our radio show coming up probably in the next couple weeks or so. Have a great day, and again, highly recommend this book.